Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Joy Duling from the Joy of Membership, and you are watching or listening to the Member Experience Advantage. I'm so glad that you've joined me for this little session that we do every Friday. So thank you for taking that time and sharing a little bit of your day with me. So today I want to talk about a topic that I haven't visited for a while, and that is leadership, engaging members in leadership. Now, this came up for me recently because I had been facilitating a membership growth workshop, and I always leave time for questions at the end of the workshop. And one of the questions that came up was kind of unusual to get at a membership growth workshop because most of the time questions are focused on kind of the front end, like how do we get more members to discover our organization? How do we get more members to decide to join? Like those sorts of things tend to be where people's brains are when they come to that growth workshop. But this particular audience member asked about engaging members on the back end and specifically in leadership roles. And this is something that is often overlooked. Now, if you have followed me for very long at all, you know that I believe that the member experience is there's a life cycle to it that actually goes through 8 specific stages. So when you're talking about attracting members in on the front end, you're really talking about those stages of discovery and contemplation and activation. It's the process that you're going through to, get them to find you, get them to choose you, get them to take the action that is required, to turn them into a member. And then you have kind of your onboarding and your early engagement stages. Now, when you start getting into more of the longevity of membership, people being involved for a while, you're coming up on renewal, maybe they've renewed, they're going into the post-renewal stage. That's a very different part of the process. And the way that you're engaging with those members looks different. Now, what happens for a lot of organizations is that people come in and they're very excited in the beginning. And then they experience what I call the fizzle effect, where life happens, they get distracted by other priorities. Maybe they don't engage in things as much as they thought they were going to engage in, and they just sort of fizzle out from participating. Fixing that problem and getting members to engage in a way that is more long-term and getting them to engage in a way that kind of up levels them into leadership positions is a very important part of the growth process. Because quite frankly, it doesn't matter how many people you bring in on the front side if you're losing just as many off the back side. You will not grow if you have that dynamic happening. So for this particular audience member, it was very smart of her to be thinking about kind of that back side and how do we get those members to, up level into leadership positions. Now, there are a number of reasons why not only is this a smart question to ask overall, but it's a smart question to be asking right now because, as we said today, at least we are still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic here in the US. We have a lot of organizations that are, really being challenged around how to connect with members and serve members when things have changed so much. So this idea of up leveling into leadership is especially important now because, things are so different. And I think that there are 4 real reasons why it makes sense to be looking at, what you are doing to up-level members into leadership right now. And the first is that being helpful to others is actually a really well-known coping strategy. So when things are stressful, being able to use your own talents to help other people can provide you with a sense of purpose, and it can help you cope with the uncertainty that is going on around you. So when you give longtime members the opportunity to help others, you are connecting with them and giving them this coping strategy, helping them to connect in with that coping strategy. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm not explaining it very well, but that is kind of the first core reason. The second, segues right into that is that, when you are dealing with a lot of uncertainty, having a sense of purpose is also very helpful to us as human beings. So engaging members in leadership roles gives them a sense of purpose, and it provides an opportunity to interact with other members in a way that they might not choose to do if they are just a member and not officially acting in a leadership capacity. The third reason why I think now is the perfect time to be looking at how you are involving members in leadership is that it's quite likely that your organization is looking for out of the box creative ideas for how to serve members. And so the more you can involve some of your long-term members in that thinking, it brings benefit to you as an organization as well, because it kind of brings in some new blood, some new ideas, some opportunities there that perhaps your current board, your current committee leaders, those sorts of things aren't thinking about currently. And then the fourth reason why I think it makes a lot of sense to be looking at this now is because up-leveling to leadership is a great way to encourage longevity. So what happens for a lot of organizations is that when members get to the point of renewal, one of the things that they are thinking about is, well, what else is there? I mean, is the next year just going to be more of the same? Is it going to be stuff that I've already heard already? Is there a path forward here, or have I really gotten as much out of this membership as I'm likely to get? So, if you have a leadership pathway, it gives people something to look forward to, something that is aspirational about their next year, because it's almost like if you're playing a video game and you're unlocking things as you move to new levels. If you can have new things that they are unlocking because they have gotten to the next stage in their membership, then that can really encourage those renewals to happen and encourage members to, stick with your organization for a longer duration. Now, if your organization has not given much strategic thought to, walking members into leadership, this is a great time to do it. And there are lots of opportunities that you can employ. So, a couple of, clients that I've served recently have, been working on this particular issue. And in one case, the client crafted kind of a senior level, advisory level group. He added that on to his membership. And the only way that you could be part of that senior level advisory group was to have some length of experience with the organization. So you unlocked that level of participation when you got to that point in your history with the organization. The other client that came to mind as I was thinking about this was one who decided that one of the things that her longer term members were going to be able to do is actually teach different industry specific lessons. So I was involved in one mastermind a couple of years ago where they used to call these campfire sessions. And you got to teach a campfire session if you were kind of further along. So it was your way of showing leadership within the group. And, for a membership organization, especially if you're business oriented, that opportunity to present your talent and your expertise in front of others can be really a beneficial part of the membership for that person. So, it provides them with even a little more industry credibility that they can showcase their talents as being part of your organization. So, those are a couple of ideas, but there are all sorts of ways that you can involve members in leadership. So, right now we're in this pandemic period and organizations are trying to connect more with members, reach out to wellness calls. You can definitely engage some of your long-term members in those sorts of leadership calls and connecting with peers. You can also have them serve as communicators for committee updates. They can serve as organizational ambassadors. They can lead expertise sessions, all sorts of creative things that you can do that not only benefit your organization, but benefit the member themselves by helping them be more connected, giving them a purpose, providing them with a more visible role in the organization, those sorts of things. So if this is not something that you have thought about as a growth strategy, it really is a growth strategy. It's really about retaining more members on the backside and not just thinking about who can you bring in on the front side of the member experience. So I hope those thoughts kind of trigger some creative thinking for you. I would love to hear your feedback. So drop me a line. Let me know what you are doing to engage your members who have been involved with you for a while and perhaps are ready to step up into more of a leadership role. Take care, and I will see you next week.